All right, so we're here. It's Wednesday night. It's a product experience and training call. This is Keith Hooper. We're joined this evening by our good friend Doug LeClaire out of Ontario, Canada. Good evening, Doug.
Good evening, Keith.
And as always, we want to put the caveats in that the product from Immunotech Research do not cure anything, but as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine, simply the most important food you can use, Immunocal Platinum, as well as our other great products. So this is kind of a somber call. There's some things going on. Dr. White will not be joining us if you're listening here. There was an unexpected death in his family. It was not his darling bride, Fern. But anyway, keep him and his family in your prayers because it's very close within their family. Want to keep that there. So, but once again, so we're not going to do the recording with Doug LeClaire that we talked about. Maybe we'll do that next week, and we'll see if we get Sue on for the following week. But you know, Doug, it's interesting about what we're doing with this concept on these Wednesday night calls, where we're covering the science. Okay, so we cover the science of what this does. And whether that be like with Randy with the allergies that we did last week, and you know, what is an allergy? It's an abnormal immune response. Okay, so it's not the ragweed that's the problem, because everybody would be, if the ragweed were the issue, everybody would respond to it.
That's
okay,
right.
What it is, it's an abnormal immune response because your immune system's out of balance, and that's where Immunocal gets it back in. And Randy did a great job with that last week, Doug.
Yeah, phenomenal. I really enjoyed his story. And that was one aspect for myself as well, Keith, was the allergies. And so the benefits just keep piling up with respect to the importance of raising our glutathione levels and how we teach people how they can do it naturally by our line of Immunocal products. Maybe what we can do tonight, Keith, is just go through the development and the evolution of Immunocal, where we stand now, where we were 5 years ago, and when we started.
Great idea. So that's a great idea. Yeah. Okay. So if we think about it, I was having a conversation today with somebody, and I was saying, you know, everything progresses over time. So if we think about Immunocal Platinum, Doug, and we think about that product, which is, you know, my favorite Immunocal, which was kind of interesting because when it first came out, you know, in 2000, was that 10, I think? Okay.
Yeah, could even been a little bit earlier. Could have been 2008.
Could have been 2008, 2010 when Immunocal came out. I was going, how dare they? We've got this incredible product of gift called Immunocal. It's a gift from God, and you guys are fussing with it, okay? And you know, and so, but immediately, both Sandra and I realized that for us personally, there was a difference. That Immunocal Platinum was our where we went. But you know, now, Doug, if you think about, you know, we're going to go in on one of the calls coming up, and I have my friend Larry Christensen on. And if you take Immunocal Platinum and you put an Immunocal Sport with it, okay, you have the finest heart health product, I believe, that you can take. And, you know, Doug, what's kind of interesting, because we talk about the athletic performance with the Sport, okay, because of the nitric oxide. So what it does, it helps those muscles work better, you know, and to me personally, the most important muscle I got is my heart, Doug.
Absolutely, Keith. And you know, if we dissect what is in the Immunocal Platinum, and when we understand who helped in the you know, the development of Immunocal to add 2.5 grams of some extra nutrients, we're dealing with the top immunologist and researcher out of Heidelberg, Germany, Professor Wolf Droge. That's the way you pronounce it in German. And we've got his entire career's worth of expertise and knowledge, some 270 plus published peer-reviewed papers in the medical literature, just to add a few extra components. And if you want me to, I can talk about what those are.
Please.
Okay, so we've got what's called a redox modulating formula, RMF for short. And what these minerals do is help to maintain the proper acid-alkaline balance within our blood. So the benefit of that, as we age and if our diets are poor, but of course we do our best to avoid processed food, but our body can come slightly acidic. And that puts quite a burden on our immune system, puts a burden on our muscular skeletal system. We can actually start depleting our calcium, our bone density. So by adding the citrate and the buffering nutrients in the Immunocal, we can help maintain. And this is great. That's one of the reasons why when I say if you're starting to get a little bit platinum, or if you're starting to lose color in your hair, then you definitely need to start taking the platinum. And the second big benefit, what's called the cytokine modulating proteins, or CMP. Now, these are very, very important proteins to help attenuate and moderate the inflammation response. So when our body gets attacked, if we have a certain antigen, a foreign antigen, or a healing crisis that's going on within our bodies, this helps to keep those extra inflammatory proteins at bay so that it doesn't cascade into a problem. So you don't what's called a cytokine storm. So people are pretty much aware that when we get sick, and if we don't have the proper nutrients within our bodies, then that can get out of hand. So an amazing product. Dr. Wolf Droge, he headed the Heidelberg Institute, the Cancer Institute, just a world-renowned doctor that decided upon retirement to make Canada his home and help Dr. Gustavo Buno continue his research on just natural healing and the protein Immunocal. So back to you, Keith.
Well, because Dr. Droge, and where he was at Heidelberg, at age 65, they had to retire. And he was sitting there literally with a stack of offers from pharmaceutical companies. But he chose to pick up his family and move to Montreal because of the value that he saw in what Immunocal does. In fact, Doug, I'm pulling up my hidden, not to be seen in public point. When they rolled out the Immunocal Platinum in Fort Lauderdale it was the 10th anniversary of Immunotech, so it had been 2006.
Right.
Okay. But what was interesting is when you look at the cytokine modulating protein, okay, and you look at, and I'm looking at some information that's not available to the general public, okay, and they compare the cytokine modulating protein against lactoferrin, okay, and so comparing the cytokine modulating to protein that's in platinum compared to what lactoferrin does, okay. On intestinal cancer, there was about an 18%, it inhibited the growth by about 18%. In intestinal cancer with the cytokine modulating protein, it's about 98%. In prostate cancer, it was about 78% with lactoferrin, and it's about 98% with cytokine modulating protein. With skin cancer, lactoferrin has got an effectiveness of about 42%, and with a cytokine modulating protein, it's like 99%. Lung cancer, lactoferrin is around 23, 24% maybe, and the cytokine modulating proteins at 80%. With, I don't know what MDA-MB is 435, it's breast cancer, but I don't know exactly what that is. But with the lactoferrin, it inhibits the cancer by roughly 38%. And with the cytokine modulating protein, we're at 95, 96%. And with brain cancer, this is interesting. Brain cancer, lactoferrin is about 15, 16% effective in inhibiting the growth of the cancer cells. And the cytokine modulating protein is slightly more than 80%. Okay,
yeah,
that's powerful. Okay, so when you look at all of these things, okay, the modulation in cancer cells. Okay, so when you're taking the cytokine modulating protein, what does it do with the cancer cells with the glutathione? Okay, so in intestinal cancer, lactoferrin is about 80% on modulating the glutathione in the cancer cells. The cytokine modulating protein is about 82%. Prostate cancer, lactoferrin doesn't even register. Okay. On modulating protein, the cancer cells. The cytokine modulating protein is about 75%. Skin cancer, 0 for lactoferrin. Well, let's give it 2%, maybe. That doesn't even show on the chart. But once again, we're something about 55% with cytokine modulating protein. Lung cancer, the lactoferrin, as far as modulating cancer, the amount of the modulating the glutathione in cancer cells is up about 85%. The cytokine modulating protein is about 94%, 95%. Breast cancer, lactoferrin comes in at about 45%, and the cytokine modulating protein is up about 78%. And with brain cancer, once again, lactoferrin doesn't even show on the chart, so it's something less than 5%, and the cytokine modulating protein is up at about 82%. Okay. Now, once again, this is really, I don't remember, Doug, if you remember seeing this in Miami or in Fort Lauderdale in 2007 or whatever it was when we were there when they came out with this. And the effect of cytokine modulating protein on glutathione levels in normal colon cells. Okay, the control group is 0% or less, and with the cytokine modulating protein, it's at one. It's got a number of 1.5. The scale only goes to 3. Okay, so pretty intensive about what that does. And in skin cells, the same thing. The scale goes to 8, and with the cytokine modulating protein, it's something around 5.5. In the control group, it's something less than 0.5%. So these are things when somebody says, I don't need to take, now you got to understand, this is only the cytokine modulating protein. Okay, so this is what it says. The influence of CMP on tumor development in NCR NU/NU mice, and it shows all the tumor growth curves and all the things there. The beauty of this is, I'm not going to go any further into this tonight, Doug, but what's interesting with this is on the cytokine modulating protein part. This is not what Immunocal does. This is what just that extra CMP that's put in there, and this is only available from Immunotech. Only available in Immunocal Platinum. This is not available anyplace else. You cannot get the cytokine modulating protein anyplace else except out of a package of Immunocal product. That's right. And if you think about it, it sounds very impressive, and like, how could that be possible? But you have to understand that Wolf Droge, this was his life's work. This was his life's work, and he headed the Heidelberg, the Cancer Institute in Heidelberg, Germany. So his knowledge was off the charts. I mean, in Canada, we call him the Wayne Gretzky of immunological research. I guess if you're in the U.S., you find your favorite American athlete and add that, because he was absolutely a genius and a superstar. And you know what, Keith, I had the opportunity just to sit down with him one-on-one when I was in Acapulco. We were staying at I think it's called the Holiday Princess, and just asked him some really, really amazing questions. And he is such a humanitarian, and he did this because what he saw, the benefits of what he could provide Immunotech research with and carry that forward. It was heartwarming. It was just unbelievable, Keith. The magnitude and the quality of the research that has gone into these products, and the quality of the character and the humanitarian nature of both Dr. Gustavo Buenos and Professor Wolf Droge. Absolutely. So once again, when somebody says, why do I need to take Immunocal? Okay. Really? Okay. Now, unfortunately, I cannot share this information that I can't share the slides that I'm referencing here. I'm not even supposed to have them. I don't know, when we went into that event in Fort Lauderdale in 2008, I guess it was, or 2007, whatever it was, they're the 10th year anniversary. When we went there, the only way you could get into that meeting room where they showed this information was you had to have your name tag. You had to be an Immunotech distributor. And they had people at the door, because otherwise no one could get in, because what they said, you're going to see stuff here that you're never going to see again. Now, somebody sent me the slides. Okay, I've not shared them ever. Okay, I'll reference them. I won't do it with you. Not sorry, guys, not going to do it on a Zoom. Okay, but this is what the science is behind this product. Okay, the science is valid, but once again, we don't want to get outside of the bounds of what we need to do to protect this incredible product that we've had all these years, Doug.
That's right. And you know what? It's not necessary, Keith. Because
take the product and know it works, right?
Exactly. Just let your own personal experience dictate how important this product is. And that's, the majority of the stories that I get are, I said, I can present you the 60,000, 180,000 research papers that validate what Immunocal does, but unless you tear that package open and learn how to mix it and enjoy it, you're not going to experience any benefits. So just get started on it and just, oh my goodness, Keith, procrastination can be apparent.
It can be a killer. Okay,
yeah,
one of the people that we're going to have on one of these Wednesday nights coming up is my friend Larry Christensen. Now, Larry and I have been friends for many years. Larry loves Extra Sharp. Okay, and he's an extra sharp guy, but his point was he thought he was healthy and he didn't need to take Immunocal. Okay, so when we bring Larry on to this Wednesday night call, we're going to be talking about heart health and why taking the sport and taking regular Immunocal is important and why you do that. And just to give you a little teaser on this, Larry thought he was healthy. Larry had a silent heart attack in 2019. Okay, meaning he didn't know he had it. And then over a period of time, he kept losing energy. Well, he is on an LVAD pump. So he's on a heart transplant list since 2019. Okay, well, guess what he takes now? Immunocal. Guess what? Every doctor at the hospital, he's at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City is where he goes. One of the top hospitals in the country. Okay, so every doctor that he's since 2019 that's gone through this situation, they've all been sick. They've all had the flus and the bugs and all the stuff that's there. Every nurse has had the bugs and the flus and everything that's there. All of Larry's family has had the bugs and the flu. But guess who hasn't had the bugs or the flu or any of the other stuff? Is Larry. Now here's a guy with something less than 30% heart function on a LVAD pump. Okay, great attitude, taking Immunocal, and he goes, it's insane. I'm the only one that's not sick. He goes, I had COVID supposedly.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Because he tested
crazy.
Positive, but he had no symptoms of it. So once again, but the point with Larry is, yeah, he used Extra Sharp. Yeah, he thought he was healthy, but oh gee, maybe if he'd had on Immunocal, okay, anyway, I'm not going to steal that. There's more to this story. A lot more, and Larry will be coming on in February. Okay, so when with this, we've got him lined up probably towards the end of February to come on the Wednesday night call. You guys are not going to want to miss that. And by the way, those are up on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Keith Hooper on YouTube. You can see Randy May from last week and David Lee Kreitz from the week before. So, Doug, I mean, it's exciting times that we're here, but Immunocal is one of these things that we've been doing these Wednesday night calls for 20 some odd years, okay, because the first year I did them with Dr. Bunos, and then shortly thereafter, Dr. White and I and you and others have been here, and we've been doing these calls on Wednesday nights. Why do we do them on Wednesday nights? Because this product is important, and we thought it was important back then, but it's more important today, Doug, than it's ever been.
Well, it's so true, Keith. Like growing up, like in the mid-'60s, and I'm just this little 6 or 7 year old recognizing that our food is in trouble. It's over-commercialized.
Right.
And, you know, fast forward another 20 years, it's getting worse. Another 20 years, it's getting worse. We cannot maintain this pace food-wise and nutrition-wise. Dr. Gutman did that study, or did that report, or published an article probably about 15 years ago on showing the nutritional content in our foods are down 30, 40, 50%. And today it's even worse. So we better be adding Immunocal and adding some nutrition back into so we've got a broad spectrum of great products, and we don't have time to go into them in detail on Wednesday nights, but we could target one every Wednesday, pick one extra side product. Tonight it's the Platinum. Maybe next week we could do the benefits of the booster, of the NRF2, the survival gene activation component to our sulforaphane product.
Sounds like a plan to me. Once again, why is K21 important? Okay, if your mineral content is not in balance, the enzymatic cell transmission of information, the enzymatic transmission of information between cells doesn't work as well as it should. That's why you need platinum. That's why you need K21. Okay, that mineral content. If you think, you know, when you walk into a health food store, or you walk into a bookstore, or you order a book online that gives you the nutritional values, there's these little books that says how much vitamin C is in an orange and what's the mineral and vitamin content of a tomato or lettuce or whatever. Here's the point. Those numbers were all established in the 1920s and 1930s. They've never been updated. Now, what's interesting is in the 1960s, they did a study, and they did it on tomatoes. And they did a study. They sampled tomatoes from 1,600 tomato fields across the U.S. And then they combined them into samples for different states: California, Florida, Arizona, Illinois, the places that grew the tomatoes. Not one of the samples had the vitamin and mineral content at the 50% level.
Right.
Not one of what it says in the book that it should be. That was put out by the Department of Agriculture in the 1930s. It's still printed on every little book that's in every little health food store that tells you the vitamin and mineral content. That wasn't true in 1960. It wasn't 50% in 1960. I can tell you, it's, as a farmer, it's not gotten better. Okay? Not gotten better. So once again, supplementation is not an option. So once again, why do you need to use Immunocal Platinum? I think we covered it. Why do you need to take the Platinum? I think we got that covered as well. So we're going to go ahead, Doug, here, I think, and open up the lines for a couple of minutes and see if anyone else has thoughts, comments, or questions. And then we'll go from there. So let me see if I
That'd be awesome.
Can get back over here where I'm supposed to be and push the button. All right, it's Wednesday night. It's our product experience and training call. All of you wild and happy, wonderful people are all unmuted. Who might have thoughts, comments, or questions tonight? Okay.
Ralph Harvey here then, if nobody else. Two things. One, I heard a prophetess, whether you believe in it or not, say the Lord told her the next thing coming down the road is the food industry, which you've mentioned many times. And you just got to read the labels and see what's in your food and where you get it. And organic, and of course, go ahead.
Unfortunately, you know, what you have to do, not only do you have to read the label, most of the time you got to get a dictionary to see what that stuff is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because you don't know what it is. They've added stuff you don't know what. And once again,
Right.
what is the coating that the appeal that they're putting on the food? I mean, seriously,
Right.
they got a nice name for it, right, Doug?
It's got, appealing name. It's called Appeal, and it's some sort of hydrogenated chemical oil coating that's it's impossible to wash off. You've got to peel. Right. You've got to peel your apples and take it off. And I don't know what the absorption rate is. I don't have that in my lab. My lab doesn't have that capability. So I really can't determine that.
Yeah.
Just avoid it.
Yeah, and in no way does she get sponsored by any company, but she said the Lord told her that Aldi's, of all places, has good food and clean food. And I never thought I'd heard her say that, but that's what she said. So you can take that however you want to do it. So
you take a look at this. I'm just reading an article, and I just pulled it up. Plastic chemicals causing infertility, diabetes found widespread in common food items. Okay,
yep.
So here's some of the common food items that were listed. Let me get down here. Brisk iced tea, lemon, Coca-Cola Original, Lipton Diet Green Tea, citrus, the Poland Spring 100% natural spring water, canned beans, Hormel chili with beans, Bush's chili red beans, mild chili sauce, great value Walmart baked beans are original, condiments, Mrs. Butterworth syrup, original, Hunt's tomato ketchup, dairy, Fairlife core powder, high protein milkshake, chocolate, Slim Fast, high protein meal replacement shake, creamy chocolate, low fat yogurt, Tuscan Dairy Farms whole milk, fast food, Wendy's, crispy chicken nuggets, Moe's Southwest Grill, chicken burrito, Chipotle. The list goes on and on. General Mills Cheerios, Success 10-minute boil and bag white rice, infant food, Gerber mealtime for baby harvest turkey dinner, Similac advanced infant milk based powder formula, beech nut fruities, pouch pear, banana and raspberry, Gerber cereal with baby rice, meat and poultry, Purdue ground chicken breast, Trader Joe's ground pork. It goes on and on. Del Monte vegetables, sliced peaches, fruit juice, green beans. It just goes. Annie's organic cheese ravioli. Okay, it just goes on and on.
So what are they adding is the question. And when you look at the additives that they're developing and the size, the particulate size is a really big concern. And there's nanoparticle size additives that are going into over 2,000 processed foods minimum. I mean, Keith just rang off about 50 or 60 or 70 of them. And these are of unknown health risks.
Yep.
What I've seen is if I've looked at autopsy samples of tissue samples, I see a lot of inflammation in a lot of the organs, a lot of the tissues. So these nanoparticulates make it into the tissues and cause chronic inflammation and disease and sometimes death. So they'll make it into the kidneys, into the testes, into the brain, into the liver, into the lungs. All of these things, including any of the injections that they give people. All of these nanoparticulates accumulate. It can accumulate in the brain. For example, the half-life of aluminum, like the nanoparticle aluminum, is 7 years. Half-life. So it takes you 50 years to get rid of some of these toxins. But anyways, that's.
But once again, what does glutathione do?
It's a detoxifier on steroids.
There you go, baby.
I don't want you to be taking steroids, but basically, yeah, glutathione is our most powerful natural way to detoxify and clear heavy metals, break down products of automobile exhaust, cigarette smoke, you name it, out of the cell, and can efficiently escort it out either through the urine, through sweating. Yeah, good point, Keith.
I have a question.
Okay.
When I go shopping, I read everything on each product. And I have a suspicion that a lot of the things that they're putting in the food is not even written down in the ingredients. And many of the people that are shopping around me, they're not reading anything. They're not. And they're not taking the time. So it takes me much more than an hour to buy food.
Well, here's, to your point, Juliet, here's the point on this article. 79% of the things tested had these forever chemicals in them. And with some of this biophenols, I'm not sure what, BISPHENOLS, 84 out of 85 items had it.
Wow.
That were tested. 84 out of 85.
Yeah. Polyphenols,
So,
biophenols.
Yep.
a lot of that is on the organic product as well.
Well, it
problem
is significantly reduced, and I mean, I've seen some studies where you can start lowering your toxic load by eating organic. But the problem is, even if it's not on the label, Keith, is the fact that the packaging contains certain coatings that contain these chemicals, and they don't have to list those. They don't have to list those ones.
Well, just like when we're looking at the one here, how do you think it ends up in the water? I mean, one of the products was this water. How do you think it ended up in the water? It absorbed it out of the bottle.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, Poland Spring, 100% natural spring water.
Yeah.
Okay. Really? That was one of the items that was tested. So once again, this comes back when somebody says, I don't need to take Immunical. Okay.
Well, I was shocked to see a year ago or so that about Cheerios, of all places, has the bioengineered grain in it. And
well, but Cheerios is on this list with these other forever chemicals in it.
Yeah, I thought maybe they wouldn't do that, but here they did. And
but this comes back to the point, Harvey, what we're talking about. Take Immunical. Take Immunical Platinum, okay, and take enough to do you some good, you know. And that's what we're talking about on these Wednesday night camp. But go ahead, Juliet. I know you had a couple of other thoughts to share.
Yeah, I have a list as well of numbers, and those numbers tell us where the food came from. And I've had this for a long time. For example, Denmark is number 57 in the codes that you will find on the food.
That's right.
471 is made in Taiwan. Everything's in Taiwan. There are no people checking any of the food in these places. Denmark is pretty good, but anything in Asia, forget it. And there's like 50 words for sugar. You're looking at so many.
Oh yeah, there's absolutely, corn syrup, dextrose.
Exactly. I went to buy the plant that becomes sugar. It's not sugar. It's healthy for us. It's
stevia.
Yes, stevia.
Okay.
Stevia. And I wanted one that's just pure, nothing added. And I went to 3 places, and not one of them had stevia without the chemicals. There's like 4 or 5 chemicals that they've added to it. And I'm thinking, why are they doing this? They're destroying it.
Yeah.
It's
and you can buy the plant and grow the plants, put them in your window.
I'm going to look for that. I'm going to look for that. Yeah, of course.
This comes back on our Wednesday night of what we're talking about. Take Immunical, because what does it do? It raises glutathion levels that detoxify. Okay, all of these other things are in addition to. It's like when I was talking to we're going to close out the call here on the night. Once again, keep Dr. Barry and Fern in your prayers as they're dealing with this family issue. There was a death in their family, and it's going to be it's very hard for them to bear. So we'll just leave it at that and let Dr. Barry, but do keep them in your prayers. Okay. Just incredible people. But I want to come to the point of you cannot eat healthy. The idea that you think you're going to eat healthy is not possible. Okay. Those days are long gone. You have to do supplementation. And the Immunical is going to help you raise your glutathione levels. That's going to detoxify your body.
Yes.
Okay, how do you know that you have toxins? Because you're breathing and eating. You're drinking water that's contaminated, you're eating food that's contaminated, and you're breathing air that's contaminated.
Right. That's true.
And if you're really lucky and really careful, maybe the contaminant that you're consuming is not fecal material, but there's a high probability that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, boys and girls, that we don't, we can't go into great details. When you get your fruits and vegetables, you wash them.
Yeah.
Clean them. Okay, clean them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that this is something you need to do. This is something you need to be aware of this stuff that goes on. So once again, there are some things that we can do. What can we do? We can take Immunocal Platinum. We can use the we can use the Immunocal Sport for healthy heart issues. As we get older, the good news is, as we get older, Immunocal is going to help us. The other good news is, because we're on these calls, we realize that we're going to have to take more than a couple of packets a day as we get older. Do you have to do it every day? Not necessarily. Now, I had a great conversation with Dr. Gutman today, because as some of you know, on the call we talked about, we're seeing all these kids now coming after Christmas, and they're either on a snowmobile, a little four-wheeler, they're on some kind of a trike, they're doing whatever, and there's all these little kids everywhere. Okay, and when I look out, I see these little kids. They got these little plastic helmets, which are really nothing more than a modified plastic bowl. Okay, they're not going to give them much protection. But when I was talking to Dr. Gutman today, because the question I have is, taking a half a pack every couple of days, would that offer some protection? And he thinks that would be good. He'd like to see a half a pack every other day. Okay, but the main point that we want to talk with people that have got 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 10 years old, 12 years old, okay, and if they're giving them, a half a pack every other day, or a half a pack twice a week, or whatever, they cannot say, I can't afford to do this for my children. I can't afford to put them on it, because you're only at a pack a week, okay, 52 packs a year. You're only talking about 2 boxes for a whole year. So you're telling me for less than $180, including taxing and ships, if you're in California where we have to pay tax on it, you can't afford $180 a year, okay, $15 a month to help your kids. And the main thing is, they'll have it on hand if, God forbid, something happens, because what we know is a skateboard is contact sport. Their heads are going to contact the ground if they're on skateboards, if they're on roller skates, if they're on a tricycle or a bicycle, okay? If they're on ice skates, okay, they're on snowmobiles. They're going to have a situation that puts them in jeopardy. A half a pack every couple of days of Immunocal, and you got it on hand if, God forbid, something happens, so you don't, because the thing we want to think about is not having to wait that 3, 4, 5 days to get when you come to the realization, yeah, I need to get them on Immunocal because they had a head injury. Not having to wait that 3, 4, 5 days. They can simply go to the cabinet where they're giving them 1 packet a week, or a third of a packet every couple of days, and that way to get to handle it, okay, for the economics. But then they got it on hand if they need to address it. So I talked to Dr. Gutman about that today. Because I mean, as I look at all these little kids, and once again, they call those helmets, and to me, they're nothing more than plastic bowls. Okay, they're not helmets for these little tykes. What's more important than a child's future? So have Immunocal on hand. So I wanted to cover on that. Doug, your thoughts on that?
Well, just keep taking your Immunocal.
Yeah, have it on hand. Have it on hand.
Have it on hand.
Have it on hand for your kids, your grandkids. So that they're taking it. And when we go into springtime, girls junior soccer is the #1 cause of concussion of a sport. That's the #1 sport for concussion is girls junior soccer. Gee, how about they take a package of Immunocal on Friday before they're going out on Saturday, just in case. And what's better, in case they've got it at home, in case something does happen. Okay. All right. Doug, final thoughts, and then we'll ask everybody else.
Okay, well, we've covered so much tonight, Keith. I would just say, buy food that doesn't contain any ingredients. Just go for natural, whole food. If you have to look at ingredients, it's way too processed. Just buy your mung beans, turtle beans, chickpeas, rice, apples. Go to the
but I mean, you got Bush's baked beans over here. Okay, I mean, you got the baked beans that are a problem. Okay, and I mean, once again, this is stuff. Okay, when you're looking at it, when somebody says, I mean, Del Monte sliced peaches and 100% fruit juice, Green Giant cream style sweet corn, Del Monte fresh Italian green beans. Okay, and then you go through all this other stuff. Okay, you know. So anyway, we talk about on Wednesday night why you need to take Immunocal, why you need to be on it, and we covered a whole bunch of stuff tonight. Anyone else have thoughts, comments, or questions as we wrap up?
Yeah, Harvey, one more thing. If you can, I probably have to wait from Dr. White's return, but maybe you guys with so much experience between Doug and Keith, so many years, of 25 plus, you can offer an opinion. I've mentioned several times I have a friend of mine whose wife had Alzheimer's, and I kept trying to get him on Immunocal for her. And here last summer he said, oh, Cleveland Clinic's got a new experimental drug they want to try. She got on it. She was driving again, back doing everything. He went off onto another job. Now he's full-time with her. She's had a total relapse and side effects, etc. At this point, do you think at this length of time would it do any good to even try to get in, or to get him to get her on it? Immunocal.
Here's what we tell everybody. It can't hurt. Give them the video. Go to my YouTube channel, okay? Go to my YouTube channel, and let me get over here so I can tell you which one to go to, okay? Your videos. All right, let me get over to my videos. Go to my YouTube channel, and there's a Dr. Dan Lensman video. It's 11 minutes and 37 seconds. Okay?
Yeah.
It tells where Dr. Lensman says that there are drugs they can put you on that will that will slow the progression, not reverse, will slow the progression of Alzheimer's and dementia. Immunocal does the same thing with none of the negative side effects. Here's what we know. Here's a company, we're going to come back with this. It's got a money-back guarantee. Put her on 4 packages a day, run it for 3 weeks, buy 4 boxes, go 3 weeks. Why? In 3 weeks, make a decision. Why are we going to do it in 3 weeks, Harvey? Because when they know it works, they need to get an order set to get it coming in before she runs out.
Right.
Okay? If not, get your money back. Get your money back. Are you so hard-headed? Are you so foolish? Are you so set in your ways that you would not do that if you had absolutely nothing to lose? You wouldn't do that? Don't get bashful about this. Don't become shy. Don't become oh, I don't want to offend them. You can buy 4 boxes of this stuff, platinum. You can put her on 4 packages a day. In 3 weeks, if she doesn't love it, you get all your money back. All, including tax and shipping. All. Yep. Okay? And you can buy it on my website. They'll credit it back to your credit card, but I want to check with you in 3 weeks. And why are we going to do, instead of a 30-day money-back guarantee, why are we going to be talking about 21 days? Because once you start taking it, you're not going to want to be off of it, and we're going to need to get an auto ship set either as a preferred customer or a distributor and get that done at day 21 so that the product is coming and so she doesn't run out.
Right.
Stop being bashful. You got to look at them and say, well, obviously, if you don't put her on it, obviously you don't give a damn about her. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest here, folks. If somebody says, well, I don't know, it's got a money-back guarantee, including shipping and tax. And you're telling me that you're not even willing to try, so don't tell me you care about her. Just be honest. Okay? You got to tell them the truth. Because, Harvey, if these are the facts, if you can get all the money back in 3 weeks, because you're not thinking that it's doing what you want to do, and you don't do it, what would be the excuse that somebody could use not to put her on it?
None.
Exactly, but that comes from a position of strength. That comes from a position of conviction. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get all confused in signing up as a distributor, and then you're going to get a money back guarantee because they're going to get the original order cheaper. No, it doesn't work that way. They buy it as a damn customer, the first order. Don't get confused, folks. If you're listening here, do not use the money back guarantee for the consultants. It complicates matters. And you're going to be calling me, telling me, you don't know what it didn't work the way you said it would, Keith. No, it worked exactly like I said it works for customers. Consultants is different, okay? Because they chose to do the business. So why, if somebody's trying the product, why would they need to buy it cheaper to get the first product to try? They don't know if they're going to stay on it or not. We want the money back guarantee. Get them as a customer, boys and girls. Let's just stand up here and act like big people. Put your adult pants on. Okay, put your big boy pants on and big girl pants. Put them on as a customer and get them and have them try the product, and then they can determine what's best for them to continue buying it going forward. Okay?
Yeah. That's
what you want to do with it. Let's see, Doug, and I didn't even take any Extra Sharp before the call.
I did.
Yeah, but I did. but I also didn't take any Serenity T200 either. Any Serenity T. All right. Anyone else?
Yes, Keith, that was wonderful. The words you were using are true. People just are lackadaisical. They don't make a decision. And your words are so what I'm dealing with, people like that.
And when you're dealing with somebody that, here's why they don't try, because your conviction. My conviction is this. I know for a fact how this money back guarantee works. I'm not guessing at this.
Yeah.
Okay? If you don't love it, you get all your money back, whether you buy it from me personally or you buy it through the website. Now, you're telling me you're not willing to try this, but you also want me to believe that you care about these people. Well, to me, that's one or the other. You either care about them or you don't.
Exactly.
And you can lie to yourself, and you can even lie to them, but you're not going to get away lying to me.
Uh-huh. I like that. That's fabulous. Thank you.
Okay. You can lie to yourself that you care about them, but if you don't try this, when you have nothing to lose, nothing, if you don't believe in your heart of hearts that this product is of benefit to you, I'm going to demand, because here's the point. If you don't want to join me in 21 days as either as a preferred customer to get a better deal or to join me in the business because you want to become part of what we're doing, if you don't want to do that, I want you to get your money back. I don't want you to just say, well, we tried it, but I don't know. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. If you try it and you go, well, I don't know if it worked or not, but I don't think I want to try anymore, okay, that's fine. Let's get your money back. Well, no, I don't need to get my money back. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay? Because if you don't love it, get your money back. This is the point that you got to put your big boy and big girl pants on with people.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay? And put them in that position of, look, if you don't love it, if you don't want to buy more, I'm going to insist that we go through the process to get you back your money, because it doesn't cost me anything. The company has this process because we believe in our product. Okay? So once again, you're either going to continue with it or you're not. And if you're not, we're going to get your money back. If you do, we're going to talk about how do you want to get it, retail, wholesale, or free. You can buy it as a customer, not on AutoShip, and get a small discount. You can do it as a customer on AutoShip and get a better discount, or you can join us in the business, and we can show you how you can get it for free as you share this with some other people. So the idea is to walk that through so they get that feeling of, well, boy, Juliet really believes in this. Keith really believes in this. Okay? You know, Manuel really believes this. I know Judy really believes in this. Randy really believes in this. Doug really believes in this, you know. So the idea is to put that in position and in place when you're having that conversation. Okay? Don't tell me you care about somebody if you're not willing to try it.
Brilliant.
Because that's what we want to be. All right. All right. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay. Well, once again, do keep Dr. White, Barry, and Fern in your prayers, and all of their family. and all of our families, boys and girls, as we look around. We all have things that everyone is dealing with. So once again, we want to express our appreciation to Mr. LeClaire joining us this evening out of Ontario, Canada. Thank you, Doug. We really appreciate you sharing your time and your wisdom with us on these Wednesday nights, and all of you. You guys are what make this call possible. So with that, one last time, anyone else with thoughts, comments, or questions before we go?
No, just thank you, and I'll be back again.
Very good. Very good. So I don't have to call your niece?
No.
With the RCMP to hunt you down. All right, Juliet. That's wonderful.
Bless your evening. It's fantastic. I loved it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening, and good night.
Thank you, guys.
Amazing call.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank